Woof, woof. We're live. Hello? Look alive. Guys, we're live. Can you say hello? Say something.
Hola. We're live? Like,
we need a countdown, boys.
Yeah, we need a countdown.
We're live.
We need a countdown. I can't start the show without a countdown.
It's a good thing we have a lady here. She can keep, she can keep us in check.
Hello.
I can't start the show without a countdown.
Okay.
All right, well, tomorrow.
I know we're a day removed, but I just have to say it. Go Bears. All right, I said it.
Go
Like, we just got our
Bears.
pleasure. So before they going to get killed on Sunday and everyone's going to go see that's the real Bears, they play the Packers. I'm just preparing myself.
Well, you don't have the Bulls anymore.
Bulls are done.
And the Hawks are teetering.
We don't have a lot. Hopefully the Cubs will be good next year. Sox,
Hanging
you
by
can't
the
do any
skin
worse.
of our
So you
teeth.
did they lose 100 games again?
Let's see.
I think they did lose 100 games again 2 years in a row.
They might have, but they were like
Here it comes. But they've
18
got
games better.
They got the pieces in place. That
They were like 18 games better. No, they don't have the pieces in place, but they were 18 games
See,
better.
you're one of the, like, because you're not a Chicagoan, because you're a transplant from New York, you can like Cubs and Sox.
Yeah.
If you grew up in, you could probably like Cubs and Sox because you didn't grow up here.
Yeah, but
We're
I
talking-
don't. I
we're
like the Cubs.
Okay.
But my daughter, well, whatever. Go ahead.
She has to pick. She grew up here.
I know when she, yeah. but
Sox?
She likes both.
Oof.
I know.
That's unusual.
She just likes all sports and so anything.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I like sports too.
It's hard.
We got
She-
some suspect
My
owners.
daughter is a
She
Cubs
went to-
fan, and it's not negotiable.
Was she a
that's what I
Cubs
said to
fan?
my daughter. But
Was she a
then,
Cubs fan before the Goy?
She was less of a Cubs fan before meeting the Goy,
Okay.
but now
because he's like,
he's hardcore.
but that's highly unusual coming from Wisconsin.
No, there was 6 boys. 3 were Cubs fans.
And
3
for Brewers.
3 were Brewers fans. 3 were Bears fans.
And for Packers fans?
3 were Packers fans.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
wow.
that just sounds like sibling rivalry.
right.
No,
That
because
tracks.
his parents were.
Oh, split?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oof.
That
Gotta run to
explains a
mom
lot
or
of it.
daddy. Oof.
Yeah. It's a tough
Because
situation.
if anybody doesn't understand, like, Bears-Packers rivalry, it doesn't. Like, Michigan, Ohio State, arguably greatest football game rivalry, of the year. I'm not saying it's the best football game that happened that year, but it's always, like, that's the game. Bears-Packers is Bears-Packers.
I mean,
right.
Case got engaged in Wrigley Field.
Get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't it get rained out the first time? Or
The first time he got rained out.
that's not a good
What do you
sign.
mean the first time?
He tried, and the game got rained out. So you can imagine
He had the whole thing planned.
He had the rain.
and the game got rained
I
out.
like at that point you got to say to yourself, like, karma,
Maybe this is a sign.
right?
No,
Like,
no.
it's raining.
No.
How many? Did he have to wait till the next day, or was it more?
No, it was like 2 weeks later.
Oof.
And then,
So you got to sit on that for? Did he wait?
yeah.
He did.
Were all of you involved in the thingy?
Did you know?
No. Yeah, I knew, but I wasn't involved.
Oh,
Did
okay.
he? Did he come to you and ask you for her hand?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Ooh.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, he did.
Did
And I was
Yeah,
like,
look
are
at
you
your mom.
sure?
No.
no? Yeah, me either. I didn't go.
Listen, I was damaged goods already, so
Take her.
divorced. So it's like, yeah, take her.
Sure.
Please
Yeah.
save her.
No, he did. It was kind of cute. And I was like, are you sure? Why? And yeah.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting this message. 49% of Chicago area residents are Cubs fans, and 38% are White Sox fans. What's the balance? They don't like baseball?
They don't like baseball. Or they both.
Oh, or they like both?
Oh,
Yeah.
they like both. Right.
Oh, okay. So what I say, 49 and 38. So 13.
Listen, it depends what year it is. If it
So-
was 2005, it was 48-39 White Sox fans.
No. No. Because if we're picking on Philly, I do have to pick on White Sox fans. Because White Sox fans, as you can talk to Butchie, he will tell you White Sox fans root for the Sox, whoever they're playing against, and then whoever's playing the Cubs. Cubs fans wouldn't do that. As a Cubs fan,
That's true.
I rooted for the White Sox, and we had Game 5. We had tickets for Game 5 and never made it.
I know.
Just threw those away. But they're probably worth something. But I rooted for them. When the Cubs made the World Series, no White Sox fan would root for the Cubs.
Right.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, it is true.
I think it's
Butchie,
true.
let's get him on the line.
I don't think it's
Please.
true.
Okay, we'll
Call
talk to
us,
next time you
Butchie.
talk to Butchie. Next time you're at EJ's on a date.
Yeah, I
Call
don't think
us.
that's true.
Okay.
But anyway, I do like both teams.
I know you do.
Yeah.
But in New York, there's no way that you would say you like Mets and Yankees or Giants and Jets. There's no way you said growing up you liked them both.
No.
Which
I
one did you? What?
grew up as a Mets fan and a
Okay.
Giants fan. And I couldn't even stand my friends that were Jet fans and
See?
Yankee fans.
See?
In fact, every game that we played as kids was broken up
Yeah.
by Jets, Giants fans, and Mets, Yankees fans.
Yeah. See? That's the way
Yeah.
to arrive.
Every
Right.
time we picked teams for
That is one of the best things that MLB did when they started doing the crosstown. When they started
Yeah, sure.
doing the League. It's great.
Yeah, it is.
because when we were
I
kids, the only way we could break up the teams was, everybody's a Yankees fan started in the field, everybody's a Mets fan started at the plate, and that was it.
And then you couldn't bring somebody into your friend group unless you had offset.
Well, first of all, nobody ever brought anybody into anybody's friend group because that was almost unheard of. And nobody moved in from different places back then. Nobody moved.
Oh,
So-
Right.
this is a good one. Don't look at the screen.
What?
Oh,
You're looking at what's the all-time regular season series record between Cubs and Sox? I'm going to tell you, it's 77-75. Who has the edge?
It's pretty close.
77-75. It's very close.
Well, I could read the screen.
Oh, well, you read the screen.
Yeah.
Your eyes improved.
Yeah.
oh, Cubbies.
But I will say,
Cubbies, go Cubs.
the funny thing too is that the Bears Packers is one of the longest rivalries.
I think
And
it is the oldest.
It could be the
Or the
oldest.
longest.
And the Packers just overtook the Bears.
Well, it feels like they've won like 25 in a row.
Well, because they just overtook them in the last 10 years. It was all Aaron Rodgers' fault.
Yeah.
He pushed them over the top.
Well, go Bears.
Go Bears. All right. What we got for today?
Moving on. We have a great show.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
We have Mailbag and we have Real or Not, the fun one. We're going to go through upskilling.
I don't know what upskilling is.
It's gaining more skills.
Do you know what upstanding is?
Upstanding?
Yeah.
I'm an upstanding citizen.
No. Instead of being a bystander, you're upstanding. So you say you're upstanding. It's like you actually stand up and do something as opposed to be a bystander. You're not one of those.
Yeah,
Let's keep
okay.
going.
An upstander?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, because it doesn't fit into your DNA.
And I
Go
don't
ahead.
know what. Do you know what upskilling is?
Well, I do because I prepared for this, but
Oh.
I've got some issues with it, and
But we're
we'll
gonna
talk
dig
it
in.
out. I
We're
don't
gonna
know.
have a great
that you're going to
discussion.
disagree with me, but I have some issues with it.
Yeah, we're going to have a discussion.
Yeah, I'm not really
and
an
that's the point of
upskiller.
it. Okay.
You're
No.
more of a beat people down.
Yeah.
I'm a downskiller.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Like Tom's compliment
He
is.
stops learning.
Yeah, for those that don't know, a compliment from Tom is you're not as horrible as the last person I had this job.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
So, hey,
Okay.
don't look at me about, well, whatever.
All right.
All right, Bad Dog. Here's a bone to pick with billionaires playing government.
I do have a bone to pick with billionaires playing government.
Yeah.
The last experience we've seen with this, last couple of experiences we've seen with this, the last couple of rants I've done on about government have been about billionaires playing government. Yeah.
Yep. On WOW, we're going to talk about investing in yourself. Critical.
Critical.
And then, of
Critical.
course, market talk. So let's get going.
Less critical.
Let's do it. Oh, and also, gentle reminder, please remember to call us on Wednesdays from 3:30 to 4:30 Central Standard Time at 312-448-7032. 312-448-7032.
And remember,
Let's
the
do
show
this.
plays at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Quickly,
And-
what is that Pacific?
4.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, I'm kind of clear of the time zone, so
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
But tell your friends, tell your family, and get as many people as you can to watch the show. It will help us, and subscribe on YouTube or check us out on the lostdog.com site. Software's coming, a couple more weeks.
Yes. All right, let's start with the first mailbag. Here it is. Hey guys, I run a small B2B and B2C business in Texas. How can I compete with larger, more established companies?
It's a good one. I will say today, I think it's much easier to compete because of the internet and the access that people now have. Much different than it was 30, 40 years ago. Without knowing what your business is and not knowing what percent is B2B and B2C, it's difficult to say, but at some point you might want to slim down, scale back a little bit on one or the other, target the one that you think is more profitable and the one that you think you're going to have more long-term success.
So when I got this email, it was obviously longer, cut it down a little bit for the mailbag, but anytime you open any kind of business or start any kind of business, you're going to have larger, more established companies that you compete against. There's not a single business in the world that kind of operates, they're one of a kind. It just doesn't exist. So no matter what kind of business there is, you just have to be, aware that there's competition. I would say one of the things that's really benefited us over the years is that we don't really care. And I know that's like this kind of attitude, which it's a little bit difficult if you've never approached life like that. But if you start worrying about your competition, it's very hard to compete. If you want to compete with larger, more established companies, don't even think about it.
The problem is, we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, when we were talking about small exchange and an amazing product, et cetera.
Yeah, sometimes they can.
And then all of a sudden the CME came out with their micros, and then it's like,
I know.
there's plenty of. So that is a risk.
Of course, it's a risk, but there's plenty of airlines, small airlines that have been, unable to get. They've been unable to get a boarding gate, or they've been unable to compete fare-wise because the bigger airlines just put them out of business or whatever it is. That is all part of building a business and becoming successful. There's also
it's an entrepreneur's journey.
Exactly. But there's also hundreds of thousands of success stories, and there's millions of failures. I get it, but that's something you just have to deal with. One of the stories that comes to mind for me in this situation is years ago when I think I've told this on air, but years ago when we sold Thinkorswim to TD Ameritrade, we'd go to the board meetings at TD Ameritrade, and all they would talk about is what Schwab's doing, because Schwab was a couple times the size of TD Ameritrade. And I was like, I never once cared about what you guys were doing, and I can't even believe you care about what Schwab's doing. That's ridiculous. Forget about Schwab. Just let's build our own stuff. And so even big companies worry about what other bigger companies are doing. You compete by being better, by differentiating yourself somehow, and not worrying about what other companies are doing.
Right.
Yep. How important is free cash flow? I have revenue, but I don't have a lot of free cash flow.
Personally, I think this is one of the things that especially young entrepreneurs or business people really have to understand. Revenue is cool, and in some cases you can get away with just having revenue and revenue growth and a lot of revenue, whatever it is, but that's generally not sustainable for most businesses.
Unless you have a crazy amount of revenue.
Yeah, unless
like Amazon, you can say that they weren't profitable until, I don't know, I think
you can go
2016,
through a who's who of NASDAQ stocks that have gone public over the last 20 years. You could talk about, revenue at Uber. You can talk about, revenue at Tesla. You can talk about all these companies that are worth, hundreds of billions of dollars now that they had revenue, but they didn't have any free cash flow. But that is the very top of the funnel. That's a really small group of companies that are just outliers. When you talk about kind of the main bulk of businesses in the US, if you don't have free cash flow, you're
gonna have problems.
You're gonna have problems.
Yeah. Because the problem, if you don't have free cash flow, the problem is if you hit a speed bump in any way, shape, or form, and it knocks you off your pivot foot, then you might have an issue where all of a sudden you say, now I've got a problem, I'm behind, how do I make this up? So it's not something that you're just gonna say, okay, I need free cash flow, I'm gonna go create it. But if there is a way that if you're taking a lot of the revenue and you're rolling it back into the business, perhaps And if you're comfortable doing it, great. But at some point, if you can cut back on some of that amount that you're rolling back into the business and spending it and save it for a rainy day, it will probably serve you well.
It also helps if you're going to raise capital. Your free cash flow really makes a difference if you're out there raising capital or telling your story. Matters.
Right. I have heard both you and Scott say, take money when you can, not when you have to. I am so uncomfortable with share dilution. Please explain your thinking.
I'm happy to go on this one. You got to get over the uncomfortability of share dilution, because you could say, look, you can have 100% of one, or you can have 80% of 10, or you could have 50% of 1,000, so your number still grows. Your worth, your value in the business will still grow. So that we're clear here, neither Tom or I have ever said just take money at any price and just give up, most of the business. We're not suggesting that at all. You still need to maintain control of the business, and that was a big one. I don't know if we've really touched on this one, but once you give up more than 50%, it's not your business anymore. So long as you have 50% plus a share, it's still your business.
Right.
The answer is, the reason we say that take it when you can, not when you have to, is because if you need money, it costs you so much more than when you don't need money. People want what they can't have. That's just human nature. So if you're being courted, people are going to come at you and say, great, you're not for sale. And if you're not for sale and people want you, that's even better for you. When I say for sale, meaning raising capital. But just get over the uncomfortability. And because once you break through that barrier, what you're going to probably find, unless you're building an amazing business and you don't need the money, then just keep going. If you're throwing off enough cash that you could just keep growing, at the speed that you want to grow, then you don't. But that's very unusual. So for most people, if you have the opportunity, take it. Best case scenario is you diluted and you never needed the money, and you're going to look at yourself and go, I don't like Tom and Scott. They gave me bad advice, and we'll be very happy that that's the case, because
Yeah, that's a high-class problem.
that's a very high-class problem.
Is uncomfortability a word?
I was thinking of that. I think
You
we
get
just
over your
made it up.
uncomfortability. No,
I would say discomfort.
uncomfortability.
Uncomfortability. I don't know if
I
that's
think
a
you
word.
made it up.
Well,
But
I made it.
it's okay.
I'm trademarking it.
I think you
There
made
you
it
go.
up. Uncomfortability. You used it twice.
Get over your discomfort.
You
Discomfort.
You used it
Uncomfortability.
twice in your little
Rant.
in your little rant right there, and I don't think it's a word.
I'm gonna
Maybe
look it
not.
up.
We'll try.
Uncomfortability.
I think
Well, hold on a second before you.
our super amazing people are finding out.
I
Backstage.
have been saying
Uncomfortability.
uncomfortability.
Yeah,
I have been saying
think it's a real word.
from the early days of us being kind of entrepreneurs or whatever. We've been saying take the money when you can, not when you have to. It's been kind of like a, it's kind of been a theme running for us for, something like 35, 40 years. It's
Okay.
not a standard English word.
Is a
But is it
whatever that is,
neo-
neologism, whatever that is not a standard
Neologism.
English word. It doesn't say it's not a word. It's a word.
It's
You're welcome.
used.
It's used.
In other words, it's used.
It's used. So continue.
It says it's not a standard English word.
Standard.
It's not a
It
standard,
doesn't
but
say
it's-
it's not
but
a
it's
word.
used.
It's not a standard. Continue.
That means it's not a word. Just
Okay.
to explain. Anyway,
All right.
we've been talking about take the money and run for as long as I can remember, and
Good movie, by the way.
good movie. Take the money when you can and not when you have to. And the reason for that is exactly what Scott said. It is very expensive to get money when you need money. It is much less expensive to get money when you don't need money. So, and when somebody wants to give it to you. So get very comfortable with diluting yourself. Who cares? It doesn't, you'll look back at that and you'll laugh at it. At some point,
What is Jensen on? What is he on? 3.6%?
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
3. Where do you think he started? Probably 30, 35. There were how many people? 30?
Most of the time, boards try to have their founder/CEO keep it, somewhere between like 8 and 10%. And I've been on the boards of companies where the CEOs asked to get back up to that level, but because dilution puts you under that level. But we've been under that level before with companies that we've owned. We've also been over that level. So I just never think about dilution. I always think about where are we as a company, and let's get to, let's get some capital so we can build what we want to build.
The better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it, is a classic right here.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, it's not even just how much it's going to cost, meaning what they're going to demand from you as a percent of the business, maybe voting shares, who even knows what it is. It's your bandwidth, the amount of time, effort, and stress that you're going to have trying to raise the capital when when it's the darkest time.
I heard or read a story, I don't remember, in the late 90s about eBay when they were starting out, and when they did their first capital raise. And I want to say it was somewhere like between 20 and $25 million. And I remember the CEO at the time, I can't remember if it was Meg Whitman or somebody else. I don't remember exactly who the CEO was. And the person said, we raised X number of dollars, 25 million, let's say. We never touched it.
Yep.
We put it in the bank. We basically put it somewhere. We never touched it. And because somebody asked about raising capital. And when we first raised money for Thinkorswim, we never touched it. At Tasty, we never touched it. And I always, like you said, it's nice to have. It's a really nice cushion, but
it's a security blanket.
We never touched it.
Yeah, but it's a security blanket because it allows you to go do things. Go, well, we have the cash if we want to go do it, versus we'd love to do it, but we don't have the cash. So
just get comfortable with share dilution.
Correct.
Don't overthink it.
Correct.
There you go. Next one. I am a software engineer with an engineering degree from a top-ranked university. I'm shocked, but I struck out landing a decent job in Silicon Valley. I was offered a mediocre development position in the Midwest that is not close to what I wanted. Do I suck it up and take the job, or keep looking?
I will jump in here and say, if you can, if it's not what you want and you can provide for yourself while you're still looking, then keep looking. If you need to take the job for financial reasons, which most do or would, then you don't have a choice. Then you suck it up. And while you're hopefully doing that job and doing it well, then you can continue to look, and maybe in 6 months or a year, something else will present itself.
So you would be against him taking it just even to start as an experience?
If he doesn't have to take it, I would be opposed to it, because there's a lot of things in there. You don't like the offer and you don't like the city. So,
true.
You're not going to be happy if you don't like the job and you don't like the location. Those are two critical factors for me. So I would say, why do you want to put yourself where you're probably going to be miserable in both?
I feel a little differently here. I feel like you struck out. So what you think might be mediocre may be really good for you. And it allows you to network and get started and get experience. I say suck it up and take the job.
Okay. Differing opinions, but this is good. How do I deal with the feelings of failure? I am dealing with self-doubt and don't know if it's time to give up.
Scott, you should take this one.
I'm happy to, but I don't know enough. I don't know enough about what the backstory is here. There's a lot going on. I'm big on mental health. Self-doubt is
What does that mean? I'm big on mental health.
Well, these are
like
things like dealing with emotions, like feelings, this whole thing.
Oh, God.
Psychoanalysis, should we get into that?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that? So I don't know what the failure is. Like, do you feel like it's just not going as well as what you were hoping for, or you literally are almost out of business? I don't know if this is a trading business, if this is an online business. I don't know what the business is. So pick yourself up as many times as you can pick yourself up, because that to me is the definition. That's how you define, for me, success, is that the great things are easy to handle. It's the problems, the failures. It's how you can recover from those that I think will define your future. So I need more information on this one.
Right, but I agree 100%.
If I remember this one correctly, which I think it is somebody that decided that they either wanted to be a full-time trader and run a trading business or a money management business.
Okay, well that's a challenge.
Yeah.
If you're not making money, the markets are telling you that whatever you're doing isn't working.
Yeah, this is a tough one, because everybody that tries anything in life, there's probably at some point there's been some failure. When I went to the
Right.
trading floor, and I first started on the trading floor when I was in my early 20s, the group I was working with, they were blown out in the first month. They were blown actually out in the first week, and so they lost all the money. So I was stuck there with no money.
Blown out means they're done.
They were done in a
Done.
week. They lost all their money. I'd only made
week.
3 trades. I was up $18.75, and they lost all the money we had. So I was left feeling, oh man, this is not. I just moved to Chicago. I just signed a year lease. And what am I going to do now? So I think that I don't think it's time to give up, but I mean, I think everybody who's done anything in life has had different periods where they're dealing with failure, self-doubt, and not sure what to do. But I mean,
Remember we talked about growth mindset?
yeah,
Like you have to adapt the growth mindset so that when you fail, you just get up again.
easier said than done.
It is.
Yes,
It's hard. There's
but
times where you think you just
Failures
got.
teach you everything. I mean,
Yeah, but when you've got, when you've been punched in the face so hard that you fall, not literally, but it's really hard to say, why do I want to keep doing that?
Yeah, why do I want to get punched in the
well
face
then,
again?
Right.
well then, just make a decision.
Yeah,
But
sure.
that's
it.
that's the
Yeah.
question.
Make a decision and
Yeah.
That's right.
stick to it
Sometimes,
and done.
sometimes, especially in the trading business, more than anything else. I mean, a lot of people didn't make it, especially on the floor and places like that. So, I mean, in the self-directed business, the success rate is much higher, but on the trading floor, the success rate was much lower.
Yeah.
So, I think that a lot of people didn't make it.
And great line, one of the great lines of all time was somebody said nobody cries more than a trader, because if a trader doesn't make money for 3 days, their life's over. Like when you're on the floor, your life's over. I'm never gonna make money again. And then somebody quickly chimed in, there is a group that cries more than traders. That was bookies. So
There you go.
There you go. All right. Real or not? So you guys don't look at the screens. I'm going to read it and you guys take a guess. Man
Okay.
performs robot dance before asking town hall questions about taxes.
what's this, Tom?
Man performs robot dance.
Do you know
before
the
asking-
robot dance?
This is the
We know what
yeah.
it is. It's like the
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with absolutely real.
Before asking town hall questions, I'm going to go absolutely real. Sure, why not?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do we think this is normal then?
I don't know if it's normal, but I'm gonna say it's real.
It's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. I'd say real. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Study finds most Americans think Venezuela is located in Africa.
100% real.
Oh, I really, really hope not. I really, really hope not.
100% real.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna say it's real, and this is gonna ruin my day.
100% real.
Thank you.
Oh.
So it's not real, but
Thank you.
I think the part that's not real is that there's a study. Otherwise, I would say I am from Ecuador, and I remember people on the trading floor would say, oh, where's that, in Africa?
Yes.
Yes. You should say yes.
And I would, sure, yes.
Yes.
So anyway,
Oh,
moving on. German nurse sentenced to life for killing 10 patients to ease his workload.
unfortunately, this is
100% real.
Yeah, 100%.
This has
unfortunate.
German nurse written all over it. It says German nurse written all over it.
Okay, well, yes, unfortunately, it's real. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I have to say that was it yesterday that we talked about college?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had taken a poll, and people say was college essential or overrated? Thankfully, 56% of people say it's essential, but still,
Should be higher.
44% is a lot.
Should be
Yeah. I
higher.
wish it was higher.
Me too.
But we'll take the small win, but I think it would be nice if it was higher.
It would be nice, definitely. All right, so we're going to go with our segment called Unleashed. And we are going to discuss would an skilling, remember, not skill, would an upskilling.
Is that a word?
Upskilling.
Yes, it's a word.
Upskilling mandate.
It's a word. Would an
I'm going with
upskilling
uncomfortability.
mandate
I
be an
can't do it.
investment or an unnecessary tax?
Well, hold on.
So this is the preamble.
Go
The
back for 1
defining
second.
question is,
Here, go ahead.
who should pay to future-proof the American workforce? The U.S. economy is defined by rapid technological change and a persistent skills gap. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, keep going back. Don't. We have to talk
You want to
about
go?
this.
Okay, okay.
No, next page.
That's what I'm trying to do.
So I don't consider this. Right. Yeah, leave this.
Got it.
I don't consider this a unnecessary tax, but I do think it's an interesting topic because, especially now, more than in the past, because in the past I think that there was a pool of there was a talent pool, like a brain drain globally, where whether it was for universities or whether it's for jobs, entry level or experienced jobs, I think there was the potential because of the U.S., the opportunities in the U.S. for a brain drain from basically everywhere. I think one of the things that made the American economy so strong and that made the equity capitalization in America so large and our GDP so huge was because we had no barriers.
You're saying the brain drain coming into the
Yes, we had a brain drain that if we didn't have somebody that was capable of going to the next level, in this case, you're talking about technological change, right? And you're talking about a persistent skills gap. If there was a gap in skills or there was a technology that needed to be fixed, built, whatever it is, we would go out and get it. And we've companies would go out and get it. Of course.
Right.
I mean, we've done it ourselves. We've
Right.
hired Russian developers, Indian developers, Chinese developers, Slovenian developers. I mean, we've gone all around the world to get
Yep.
technological talent. It's because why didn't we just do it in America? Because there are certain things that weren't available.
Right.
Either the talent pool wasn't available, the right people weren't available. It's just what we've done recently, which is really scary, actually, is we've closed some of those doors.
Not some of them, almost all of them.
Almost all, yeah.
We flipped the script.
There's been a change in the way we think, or the way certain people think in this country, about how important that brain drain is. And I think you're going to see something. It's too early to see the after effects of that because it's just going through the process.
Oh,
Right.
but it's happening.
But it's happening right in front of us. So one of the things that has defined the U.S. economy over the last couple of decades is our ability to adapt to all these technological changes, and the lack of, and the near almost skills gaps are almost non-existent because we take everybody from everywhere else, and the rest of the world has all these skill gaps,
Right.
and they're behind technologically. It's going to be interesting to see what happens
Yeah.
going into the future now because a lot of those doors have been closed.
Yeah, I think
Right.
I think you're being very PC to say interesting because this is going to be a disaster.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the supply-demand mismatch is what we're talking about. Since 2015, U.S. job vacancies have consistently exceeded hires, reflecting a demand for skills that outpaces the available supply.
Well, that's it. And also remember, there's a drag on different, the way the education system is set up in this country, especially, undergraduate, graduate degrees, is that there's a little bit of a lag. There's a delay. So, for example, when we needed engineers, we were a couple of years behind. Then when we needed data scientists, we were a couple of years behind. And then when we needed AI specialists, we're a little bit behind because
This graduating class from this past year, I believe, is the first one for developers, for coders who are really struggling. And you had this where you're talking about your delays.
But it's a lag. It's because
right,
of
it's
the lag.
the delay.
Yeah.
Now it's caught up, but the demand isn't what it is because the supply is so great.
Right.
So the supply now is exceeding the demand. And now these kids who have come out and they're like, wait a minute, I was told, because if you think about it, if you graduated, you're 21, 22, 23 years old, that means you were 11, 12, 13, 10 years ago. When you hear about this, you get excited, you go to school, you go do this, and now all of a sudden, like, what's going on?
The fundamental problem is that the economy now and opportunity moves faster than the curriculum at most universities. And so
Oh, I don't think that's any question.
I know. So the
Right.
curriculum moves too slow. It's not flexible, and the economy moves very fast. I mean, 3 years ago, who would have thought everything would be focused on AI? We were still trying
Right.
to focus everything on data science. And 2 years before that, we were trying to focus on engineers. So this is the real challenge. How does our educational system move at the speed of the economy? And it's a real challenge.
So here's the case for a mandate and the case against. We'll look at the case for says we can build national competitiveness, worker mobility and higher wages, proven return on investment at leading firms, shared societal investment. And then the case against talks about cost and flexibility. It says, it's a burden, especially on small businesses. The quality control and relevance of it, the investment risk and poaching, and market-driven alternatives. So we'll look at these.
Well, go back, because that's
Okay.
So,
Well,
but
this is it.
but this is
Summary of what we're going to continue to
and
discuss.
and this
I
is
know.
and what this is then, so that we're clear at this, what this is talking about. Should there be a government mandate that says, as a business, these are things you need to do? To
Right.
say that you need to take these responsibilities, these expenses upon yourself to try to lift up, to upskill, your current, staff.
the challenge for this list is that there are no market-driven alternatives. Quality control is not relevant. Like, whoever put this list together, investment
No,
risk and
but-
poaching is not relevant, and burdens on small business.
No.
That is
no.
Let us get into
You're
it.
missing.
Yes.
You're missing.
I'm missing
Let
the
us get
wall.
into
Go
it,
ahead.
and then
okay. I will explain.
then you can rant all you want. The investment gap. The United States underinvests in its workforce, spending only 1/5 of what other advanced economies do on labor development programs. Right? Got it. We
This-
talked about that.
Yeah, but you can't go through this. So this is the issue. When you go to other places around the world, whether it be Japan or China or even Mexico, the technology that people on an everyday basis, the technology that people that part of their life, it's way ahead of where it is in the U.S. right now, and we are not spending what we need to spend to keep up with it. And there's a lot of dangerous fundamental changes that are in place right now that I don't know how easy it's going to be or how complicated it's going to be to catch up.
Well, that's the discussion, right? Mandating employer investment in upskilling would directly address the documented skills shortage and expand training opportunities. This is the thought, right?
Well, I don't know how you mandate.
This is pro. Okay, we're going to continue talking
No, but
about
I just don't know how you mandate something like that. I think that competition should mandate that.
Correct. But the question
Correct.
is,
The
the question is, because we're
discussion
so
is
far behind,
pros
should
and
this then
cons.
be thrown out from at the level of the federal
Like
government
government,
and
right.
say, because we're so far behind, we can't rely on businesses because that's failed. So therefore, the reason we're here is because businesses haven't done it to date. So therefore, do we need to mandate it? Personally, I think it would be a disaster.
You can't mandate it because the problem with trying to mandate something when you don't have the skills or talent available, what are you actually mandating?
Trying to get people the skills.
That's right. So what you have to do is create an environment that encourages, so in other words, you can't cut off your oxygen, you can't cut off your blood and then expect something good to happen. And that's, so you can't mandate blood flow.
Okay, well, on the pro side, people will say proposed solutions include a national training trust funded by large employers, especially as many companies have reduced training over recent decades.
Well, there's
And there's examples of
hold on, there's
big
a way-
companies who have done it very successfully.
here's the problem, is these are big companies, specifically Amazon, that
Right.
figured out a way not to pay taxes so that they could commit $700 million to upskilling and thinking that makes them whole. Okay, what the problem is, you can't have companies worth $3 trillion and $4 trillion that don't pay a fair share of taxes that would support these programs. I mean, I can't say the same thing for Walmart because I don't know as much about Walmart, but I think companies like Amazon, companies like Apple, companies like Facebook, companies that literally don't pay taxes,
Well, they pay taxes.
It's like
They don't pay-
6%.
Yeah, they don't
Okay,
pay.
when we pay, a ridiculous multiple
Yeah.
of that. Okay, the problem is that these companies they're committing to these minuscule upskilling programs or initiatives, and they're not paying tax. You got to fix the tax code, and then you'll have the capital. Like the last thing I want is to rely on Amazon to solve this problem,
Correct.
or Walmart to solve
Correct.
this problem. This is a much bigger issue. This is an issue that has to be solved
These
on
are
a federal level.
examples. Get it.
But
Totally
you,
get it.
But you
You
can't.
said on a federal
But-
level or not?
This is an
Okay.
issue that has to be solved on a federal
Let's
level.
move
But
on.
not through a mandate to say you need to do these programs.
That's right. Not through a mandate saying
Correct.
Amazon, you need to do this. This is
right.
This is getting your revenue from those companies and then spending it on what needs.
And providing it
So
to-
part
That's
of
right.
what
providing education.
are seen as pros of upskilling that directly translates to higher wages and economic mobility. About 8.6, average wage increase, or about 8,000 per year for upskilled workers. That's nearly 3/4 of workers reported improved work happiness after upskilling. And then 30% of recently upskilled workers moved into higher paying, higher skilled jobs. 2/3 noted a better standard of living. Again, a mandate would extend these opportunities to workers in lower wage jobs who currently have the fewest chances to advance. That's the pro side.
Yeah,
But it
That's
doesn't
just the
it's-
pro side.
And
Leave it there.
it's not, you can't implement that. In theory, somebody could say, oh, this would be great because we're going to upskill, we're going to lift up the working class, we're going to have a better middle class, we're going to actually expand the middle class as opposed to contract it. It's not going to work if you leave this to individual companies.
and
Well,
you
that's
can't
like
leave
why
it.
it's-
No, don't go ahead yet. Go
Okay.
back. Go back.
Fine.
Ye-
We have a lot to go through. But go.
Here's the issue with this is just like Scott said, you can't mandate certain companies with lower wage jobs and to provide this
Upskilling.
service, this
Yeah.
skill, upskilling, whatever. This has to be done. This is a foundational problem. And you can only solve it through fixing the tax code and then allocating the capital towards.
How about
Well, then that would be
education?
federal
Well, that's what it
anyway.
is.
How about education? You
It's-
just say, look, if we
Right.
have the ability, if we tax
That's all it
companies,
is.
if
It's
we tax
allocating the capital.
corporations correctly, we could have basically universal health care and free education through college for everybody if we wanted to do it.
It's not even
Actual
it's not even
quality
just those two
education.
things. There's a whole upskilling piece to it.
They're big ones.
Okay.
If you have a better educated population, would remove a lot of these issues.
A lot of these
You just
issues.
can't leave it up to the individual companies in this case. That's not the way to solve this. And
Well-
and the other thing we have to point out is this is what Lost Dog is all about. Is what we're doing. The whole concept behind Lost Dog is essentially an indirect way of upskilling by giving you context around what you need to do to be worth more money. We're doing it on an individual one-off basis, but I mean, this shouldn't fall only on us. But
Right.
again, we are doing this on a one-off basis because we do understand how important this is. Okay.
All right. So this is the thought that if employers, individuals, and government, pitch in, if you will, then
Yeah, that's a perfect world.
It's not going to
It
happen.
would be a
because-
perfect
yeah, but
world.
employers-
Exactly.
Employers, you have businesses that are beholden to shareholders. And our current administration they're not going to be interested in pushing something like this through. They want less government intervention or involvement than more. So exactly, perfect world scenario, that's great. It's not going to happen.
on a global context,
Corporations would rather get rid of people to help their share price.
Yeah.
And so this is never going to happen.
on a global context, some countries legally guarantee workers the right to training each year, providing a potential model for the U.S.
Yes, some countries do that. I mean,
Anyway.
a lot of countries do.
All right, so the case against. A one-size-here, you can run with it. A one-size-fits-all mandate could strain small and mid-sized businesses.
Correct.
Obviously.
Sure.
A blanket requirement imposes significant costs, especially on small and mid-sized businesses. Evidence of economic sensitivity. Amid recent economic pressures, U.S. employers' spending per learner dropped nearly 20% in 1 year.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Critics worry a mandate could lead to minimal, low-quality training programs designed for compliance rather than genuine skill development.
Yeah, you have that already in the world
A
of finance.
mandate could, and where?
In finance.
Right, a mandate could encourage a focus on quantity, like meeting a quota, over quality,
There's
and
no doubt about
relevance
it.
of the training provided.
That's right. We're not in favor of a mandate.
That's why we are going through all of it. The train and poach problem, investing in an employee who leaves. This is the core dilemma. Fear of subsidizing their rivals, meaning talent pools, meaning they're subsidizing their rivals' talent pools by paying to upskill an employee who then leaves for a better job elsewhere.
Yep.
And then real world evidence, there's existence of training repayment agreements, which force workers to repay training costs if they quit. Highlights deep employer
Good luck.
anxiety about recouping their investment.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I
Good
think that's just, something that you
Good
maybe
luck.
sign a contract
Good
and
luck.
it may deter, but good luck getting your money
I've never
back.
even heard of that.
Well, it exists.
I know it
You're lucky
exists.
if you get the computer back.
Yeah.
That's funny. Market incentives and flexible
Yeah, we don't have
alternatives.
to go through each one of these, but it's, I mean, this is it. Targeted incentives would be fine. Public and private partnerships would be great, and strengthening public education
But
are all
targeted
things.
incentives says it's expanding tax credits.
I mean, for businesses that invest in education. This assumes that they pay their taxes to start with.
Exactly.
Yeah, the companies I'm talking about don't even pay taxes. So
Right.
you can't get a tax credit for something you don't pay.
Right. Then there's public and private partnerships or
Yeah, those all
and
make
the
sense.
most important is strengthening public education.
And I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah, we're
Yes. Oh, and that's it. A mandate could be seen as government overreach because companies and workers are best positioned to negotiate priorities.
all. Yeah, I think a
So-
mandate is overreach.
Yeah.
I think
But-
it's fixing the tax code and then accepting the fact that in order to build a strong economy, you have to have the talent. And you have to change fast.
Yes,
And
but
it is an
education
education thing.
changes everything.
Yeah, sure. That's what we're building.
So having it be more accessible,
Has to be better.
it has to be better.
Has to
We
be
have to do better.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay, great.
Right.
We all agree. And we're kind of doing good in time, so we're going to move on to Bad Dog, our fabulous segment with Tom Sosnoff. And he has a bone to pick with billionaires playing government.
Oof. This one,
Oof, it's a
This
good
one-
one. Billionaires, please tune in.
yeah, billionaires, please tune in. Yeah, this is something that's been bugging me for a while. I call this kind of the death of Doge. Well, maybe you'll like it, maybe you'll hate it. I don't really care, but hopefully there's some takeaways. Here's the thing about billionaires playing government. They eventually remember they're not actually in charge. Hi, I'm Tom Sosnoff, and I have a bone to pick with the disastrous Doge experiment and the scorched earth it left behind. It's time to reflect on the death of Doge. Let's be very clear about what happened here. The world's richest man, who can conjure tens of billions in market cap by tweeting about Dogecoin or promising Mars colonies, decided the real problem with America was that we pay park rangers $50,000 a year. So he launched Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, with zero subtlety. The result? Tens of thousands of federal workers, people who dedicated their lives to food safety, disaster response, and making sure your bridges don't collapse, fired via spreadsheet by guys who have never seen the inside of a government office that wasn't handing them a subsidy check. The cruelty was the point, but so was the incompetence. It turns out you can't run the federal government like a tech startup where you move fast and break things. This wasn't fiscal responsibility. This was a temper tantrum with a body count, orchestrated by someone who thinks public service is for suckers while he hovers up billions in government contracts and tax breaks. And here's the sickest irony. Elon wanted to save a few billion while simultaneously arguing he personally deserves a $1 trillion compensation package. Let me translate that for you. He believes his ego is worth 200,000 times more than a civil servant's entire lifetime of work. That's not efficiency. That's pathology. So we've learned something crucial. Never again can one person, especially a miserable, soulless man-child chasing validation from Discord, wield this kind of power over American lives. Go fetch some humility while American taxpayers rebuild what you've destroyed.
Rumph.
I love writing these things.
Yeah, you do good.
Obviously not a huge fan of you can think of a lot of things in the history of all the crazy stuff we've done in Washington over the years, but the Department of Government Efficiency just destroying so many lives for what? For absolutely nothing, for less money than he raises in 15 minutes, offering a new AI,
Sad.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Sad. Do we really need to fire park rangers and firemen and people like that? And it's insane.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
On a more positive note, words of wisdom. Here we come.
Invest in yourself.
Investing in yourself.
Yeah.
There's certain themes that we keep coming back to, and for good reason.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. Don't be shy. Invest in yourself.
What have said a million times over, invest early for retirement. Like if you get a job and they match your 401k, just put that money in there.
Hold on. Matching your 401k is a no-brainer.
Right.
Because matching your 401k is free money.
Right.
Invest early for retirement, I hate this.
But 401k is
That's not the same thing.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
You're
it
putting
is.
money
I
away.
understand what a 401k is.
Okay.
And I get what a 401k is. And I said everybody should do that.
Wait a minute, just stop for a second. Are you going to say that you think it's a horrible idea for somebody to take some of their income and put it in the market at a very young age?
I'm saying I think it's a very mediocre idea for somebody who's 24 years old, like
Yeah.
take one of your kids,
Yeah.
to open an IRA account to put money away for the next 40 years.
What about
Yes,
what about for opening an account to trade, not an IRA?
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, fine.
But this
But
is
if they get a 401k,
401k.
if they
forget
can
it.
put
We've
it
already
at
agreed-
work and
investing
get the free
early,
money
listen,
from the
the
company, why
difference is-
not?
We've already agreed on that. I have no issue with that.
Okay.
We're talking about an IRA account.
But you could
Got
do it in a taxable
I
account.
never said IRA.
You could still do it in a taxable account to help you with retirement. It doesn't mean it's locked up and you're not limited as to what you can put in next.
Do a Roth. Anyway,
You were going to scare me.
Moving
If you were
on.
going to
I
say
know,
no
right?
to that one, I was going to.
I am saying no to.
No. To a taxable account.
No, I'm not saying
Right.
no to a taxable account.
Okay.
okay. Budget for skill development. As we've been talking about, you have to build your skills, upskill, consistently fund your own education.
Yeah, I think that's something that we.
You can put away like 2%.
No, that's not what they're talking about here.
To fund.
Yes, it is.
No.
No, this is
No.
skill development.
This is-
Budgeted. No, I'm saying 2% of your budget can be
I know.
saved towards.
And I'm saying that's not what this
Education.
is. What I'm saying this
Okay.
is budget for skill development or constantly fund your own education means that you are just doing what like we do. I've been spending the last 15 years, okay, funding my own education. Okay, you build something on your own, like this company. We are funding our own education right here. This
There's
is
a lot of ways to learn.
I know this is
Yes.
not
Free
about
formal
this is not
education.
about putting money away. This is about constantly doing things. Like when we built Tasty, we spent 15 years learning how to trade all over again and learning kind of how to optimize trading. When we're building Lost Dog now, we're spending a lot of time learning about ourselves and value and putting context around the entire workplace and how everything like that is what we mean by funding your own education. You're essentially always learning. You're not just doing the same thing.
But you need to have a budget for that.
No, budget could be. It could be.
You're budgeting your
bandwidth.
resources.
It's
Your
bandwidth.
resources.
It's your bandwidth. So you're saying
Yeah.
take
Sure.
take a certain amount of your time rather than doing something
Well,
that
that
Tom.
could be true.
You're taking a
it's
couple of hours a
blend all.
day. You take a couple of hours a day to
But
do
if
something.
you can pay for like a certification or something.
No, I understand that.
That's different.
But like
All
you're
right.
taking a couple hours a day now to do things that you weren't doing.
You're just being
before.
contrarian today, like my husband. Anyway, pursue professional certifications
is that a
or
compliment?
education.
Wait a minute, is it contrarian?
It
or
is not a
Is it
compliment.
Oof.
is
Oof.
not.
Is it argumentative? Wow.
Well,
what
sometimes.
people
sometimes.
didn't see
You know what?
was,
If he has
was
gin, if he has a drink of gin, starts fighting with me over everything. I could say the sky is blue, and he'll say, "Nope, it's purple."
Well, I'm not drunk.
But I don't know what you took. No, you don't need anything to just.
all right.
Anyway,
All right.
moving on. Pursue professional certifications or education. Invest in formal credentials.
And this would be something you'd pay for.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, typically.
But you
This is
gotta,
something.
This is
you
something
got to
you'd pay
budget for this too.
Yes, this you would.
This
Yeah.
you would, but
Yeah.
you know, or you borrow for this. This means you're getting your MBA, or you're getting your PhD, or you're going for, you know, you're going for some kind of
Some license within
So
your
certification,
class.
a license,
Yeah, within your
and,
field.
Yeah,
sure, no issue.
masters.
No issue at
And
all.
it's possible. I mean, listen, we came out of the trading world on the retail side where you need a lot of licenses. Some firms will allow you to do it. I would support anybody that if there was a reason for
But
them
some
to get
people
a
want
license.
like a, you
Yeah,
know,
you get another
CTA,
yes.
CFA, all these
Yes.
things. Yeah.
They take time and they take money.
Yep.
That's right. Continuously, this is the word of the day. Continuously upskill.
Yeah.
Commit to lifelong
That-
learning.
And that to me is just
Is what-
it's the master class. This is, you just have to say you always want to keep learning because it gets really boring if you become stagnant.
Even
we-
if it's
we-
just a little technology that's new
You
that
don't-
will
you
help
don't-
you
We've been doing this our
with
entire
anything
lives.
in your
So
day to day.
we've been doing this literally our entire lives. Everything we've done is like, okay, now we're going to teach ourselves something new.
Right.
And I think, listen, it's a luxury
Yeah.
to be able to do that. It's a gift. It's like you get lucky if you do something where you
Well,
can.
we got lucky from a business standpoint. Anybody can commit to lifelong learning.
Correct.
Anybody could do that.
Correct.
I mean, you could just listen. You could just read books. You could, read
Well,
magazines,
it's-
newspapers. You could go study. There's things.
Yeah.
Listen to music. There's things
You could learn
do.
how to use your iPhone.
I can learn
looking
a lot
at
of
you.
things. Thank you.
Oof. Oof.
Right? That could be committing to lifelong learning.
It's a must.
It's a must. And then proactively build a professional network. We've talked about networking
I think it's
every day
criti-
almost.
I think it's really important to build your own personal network. There's a lot of people I know that really don't have not necessarily, just don't have any kind of a work network. They might have a friend network, but not really a work network. And I think on the professional side, listen, it's different when you're in your 60s, okay? But if you're in your 20s or 30s, you need that professional network. That's how you meet people.
I mean, look at
That's right.
just today. I'm not going to obviously give names, but somebody that you have stayed in touch with, that has stayed in touch with you, that has gone on to become hugely successful, started working for us at Thinkorswim 20 plus
25
plus
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've stayed in touch with so many people from the last, actually 30 years or even longer. And it's crazy, and that network just still means so much. You end up with, you just end up bullshitting about work. You end up talking about, giving ideas and sharing creativity and talking about, innovation. What I love is people that are, if you have, you're always just some function or some measure of all the people that are in your network. They always said you're just the average of the people you hang out with. Well, in the professional world, you're kind of the average, or you fit into whatever your network is. And if you're in a network of really interesting, creative, innovative people, you're going to fit in there somewhere,
Yeah,
because that's just how life works.
right. Then using tools, like our tools.
Yeah, so we have a crazy amount of tools that we've built into the Lost Dog platform. And they're all designed to kind of talk about, skill competency, and to give you just an idea of where there might be strengths, where there might be deficiencies, where you can do better. We'll use a little bit of AI to help us in designing like a little bit of a like like the perfect skill set or something that resembles a perfect skill set. But most of this you have to do on your own. Most of this you have to do on your own. The more information you give us, the more we're able to redefine and recalculate a skill set. It's like there's buttons on this software that allow you to recalculate like valuations just based on different skills that you acquire and that you give to us, which is one of the reasons that every couple of weeks we send you an update showing you what's changed in your life just based on whatever skills you've acquired. Even in, like you could have had a winning trade, you could have read a book, you could have taken an online course. That changes your skill set,
Right.
makes you ultimately more articulate, more valuable.
Correct.
I don't think people realize that, or they might realize it, but they don't know how to apply it.
That's right.
I think most people. It's true for most.
Don't.
People. Yeah. Don't.
Yeah, of course, because
They don't know what does that mean that I now have this?
Right.
I just read the most interesting book on mechanical engineering, even though you did, or on the stock market or something. But you don't realize that in that book, because you found it so interesting, there are either dozens or hundreds of takeaways that change your perspective on lots of things. You don't realize that, you take an online course, you're like, wow, that really did change the way I think about something. I watched this documentary. It changed the way I think about something. That ultimately, believe it or not, changes your value. And it's very difficult to assess that on your own. But if you have the technology, the quantitative technology behind you that does that, that's really cool.
Right.
Cool.
Very cool. Can't wait. All right. And we're in good time to talk about the markets.
Talk about the markets. Well, Mr. Sheridan, I mean,
So this was an interesting day for me today, in the sense of we've had a lot of days in the last week or two where we just kind of go to a level, we sit there and not much happens. That was not today. I mean, SPOOs were up 30 plus this morning, went up, they went down in the day, went back up again.
they went down a little tiny bit.
Okay, but they sold up 30 plus handles,
Yeah.
rallied back up again, sold up. They're closing up 13, 14, handles. NASDAQ's up a lot. NASDAQ's up 200. Gold's down 35. Silver, can't keep a good silver down.
Well, first of all, let's talk about that for a second. Gold down 35, silver unchanged, up 3 cents.
That's odd.
I mean, silver is my biggest precious metal short right now.
Me too.
So I'm not happy about it. It was last night. It was down $1.70.
Yep.
And today it closes up 3 cents. That's not good for the good kids.
No. No, but I mean, look at Bitcoin. It was down 5,000 plus yesterday, and now it's up 5,800.
Well, it opened up about 1,900 this morning, or in the overnight session, and then by the end of the day, rallied up 5,800, which is the most recent high, 91.5. But
Ethereum's back to almost 3,000.
Ethereum had a nice rally today, really nice, almost 10%. Almost 10%.
Yeah.
And all the other, kind of, I wouldn't say altcoins, but the other coins that we trade, like Solana and those things, they were all higher today. The NASDAQ fired out of the chute.
Strong. Quite strong.
Yeah, it was mostly Apple and Nvidia this morning. It was Apple, Nvidia, Palantir, Meta, like the whole
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft. I did short Nvidia today. I didn't really stay very short it. I did short Palantir today. None of those really worked out to be fair. They're about on the day. We're already short Google, but the worst trade, I guess, is just trying to be short NASDAQ more than anything else. The VIX came in a little bit today after, rallying yesterday. And one thing that did work out today was we got long bonds pre-market. At least I got long bonds pre-market.
I did not.
I bought them down in the, they traded down, I want to say they were down about 7 or 8.
Were they under 116?
Yes. Yeah, they're just under. But they were down 7 or 8 this morning. And so, they closed at 09. Yeah, they were probably trading right around 116, 115, 29, 30, in that range. I sold the 34 puts. I'm sorry, not 34 puts. The 114 puts in January. And that's my big long position in bonds. in stocks today, sold some more NASDAQ futures, did not work. Stayed short S&P futures. Let's see, what else did we do today? They killed premium in natural gas today, if you have anything on it there. And I would say across the board, they did take out premium pretty much,
Well, yeah, the VIX was up to over 25. It's now 16 and a half. So
was the VIX over 25 or was it?
Yeah, X was, yeah, it was over 25.
And that was just such a crappy sell-off too.
Like a week, I'm saying a week, whatever, week and a half ago, it was over 25. And now it's down to, 16.59. So.
Well, there's certain stocks in here that I find are at, I kind of feel like this is just a really important level. First of all, early December, it's always tough to be short in December because they, it's triple witching. It's your typical end of the year, who's left type thing, never sell a dull market. And these markets tend to be right now so choppy, like half the stocks are down, half the stocks are up, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday we're down, yesterday the market, NASDAQ's down 100, today it's up 200. Yesterday S&Ps are down, 20, today they're up 13. It's really trading like no man's land.
And again, just a lot of movement today. I mean, good, obviously good if you're trading, if you're trying to make intraday trades.
I felt like they wanted to sell them all day.
But me too, but they didn't.
But they didn't. I feel like
they got the one time they got them down a little bit. They're like, okay, take them back off.
Yeah, but I felt like they wanted to sell them all day today.
Yeah.
And they didn't. I was fairly active this morning. I was not that active.
Is the Fed meeting next week?
I don't know. My guess is based on where bonds are trading right now. That's ZB. Those are the 30-year bonds. Based on where bonds are trading right now. They do not look like the Fed is going to cut rates. They don't look like it. I mean, I would be surprised.
Or if they do, the market's not going to like it.
I mean, at 116.09, I think they're going to have a hard time raising even lowering even a quarter point. I kind of hope that they wait, just because I like when the market tells you what they're going to do, not when the Fed tells you what they're going to do. But
will you have that possibility up until May?
I thought it was the 10th.
After, when is it?
The 10th, I thought.
That'll be next week.
Yeah, so I wrote.
Right, that'll be next Wednesday.
Yeah, so I wrote a rant on, which I think we'll do tomorrow or next week. I'm not sure, but it's on the next Fed governor, and taking the prediction markets and talking about who the next Fed governor is most likely to be. And what's interesting about it, and I'll give you just a sneak preview, is that the discussion of who the front runner to be the next Fed governor based on the betting markets is currently the top economic advisor for the Trump administration. And he's very dovish, which means he wants rates to be lower, and said he will aggressively lower rates. The challenge that he's going to have is, on the one hand, you've got the market saying you can't lower rates. And on the other hand, you've got a potential Fed chairman saying he wants to lower rates.
But he gets the same vote as everybody else. He doesn't get to make the decision. I mean, they're all voting.
The challenge is that when you have that kind of a standoff, the market usually wins.
Market always wins.
Yeah. So it'll be.
I mean, whoever it is, can claim victory by doing what he wants to do, but the market's going to say whether it was the right move.
Well, the one thing I think that people will, in the long run, appreciate about Jerome Powell, even if you hate the Fed, even if you hate whatever, I think the one thing you'll appreciate about Powell is that he never went against whatever the market said. He always backed up bond prices with whatever the Fed did, which is how I think you got to do. I think Yellen, on the other hand, kind of messed that up and didn't, her issue was they raised rates above, at the time, raised rates faster than what the market was, actually suggesting. And that kind of threw things off a little bit. I think Powell did it the other way. I think you have to be really careful about aggressively going against, what the marketplace tells you. It just creates an uncomfortable situation for the market, because then you've got traders and you've got all this cash doing something different than what the market's telling you. You know, that's the biggest challenge. Anyway,
All right,
it was kind of a mixed day.
Yeah, mixed day.
Mixed day, up, NASDAQ up strong. Remember the in some of the markets say, I think that was the Russell even up. I got to check it in a few seconds. It was down earlier. I'm not even sure it was up on the day.
So, all right, good show for Tuesday. Thank you. Remember our
Remember to
call
call
in.
us on Wednesdays.
What's that?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. So tomorrow, 3:30 to 4:30 Central Time. Please get some questions. Call in. You know, as Tom always likes to say, nothing is off limits. 312-448-7032 is the number. We'll talk about it again tomorrow during the
And
show.
we'll play it Thursday night.
And it will play Thursday night. So 312-448-7032. Get your questions ready. Looking forward to it. Besides that, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening. Thank you. Signing off.
Bye.